morning. Wednesday, July 19th. Where is the time going? I am Bob Zykowitz, your host this morning, and my lovely guest is Dawn Bellamy. Good morning, Dawn.
Good morning.
And you're from Home Health.
Yes, I work on the inpatient side, but we do a lot of home assessments.
Okay, we're going to talk about some of the things that we should do in our apartment.
Yes.
Very important, I know.
Yep, safety first.
First of all, we have some new residents, I'm sure. Where is your office located?
So I'm located on the inpatient side of rehab, which is located on the second floor of Garden Ridge.
Garden Ridge, okay. Second floor.
Yes.
Just a feel for your office. How many people are involved in home health and rehab, whatever?
Okay, so on the inpatient side, there's probably 10 therapists there. And then there's also an outpatient side, which is located in Hunter's Crossing on the ground level. And I think there's about 4 or 5 therapists that work there. So about 15 or so of us between the two offices.
And all of them are kept busy.
All the time.
Okay, Dawn, I'd like to chat about home safety.
Okay.
This is a very important subject, and all of us should be aware of our pitfalls that we may meet in our apartment. So I'm going to pass it over to you, my dear.
Okay, so one of the biggest things that I think in doing home assessments, I'm an occupational therapist, so part of my job is to ensure safe discharge. And if the resident is going to be returning to their home here at Green Spring, oftentimes we'll go and do what's known as a home assessment. That starts from the moment we enter the apartment. One of the first things that I look at is safe entry and passageway. So what that means is there's no like obstructing furniture or things that just narrow the passageway, so that if you're walking with maybe a walker or a rollator, it's not so small that you can't safely get through. The next big thing are throw rugs. So it's miniature rugs or even larger pieces of carpet or rugs that are placed on top of just regular carpeting, but they're not secured to the ground. Huge trip hazard. So when you're coming along with your rollator or your walker and the wheels get caught, either sometimes there's like fringe or like loose ends on the carpet, huge trip hazard. So we recommend taking those up or really very, very securely attaching them to the ground. So far we're looking at passageways, making sure they're wide enough to go through. We're looking at making sure there's firm, flat surfaces so that there are no throw rugs, or if there are throw rugs, they're securely fastened to the ground. Next thing is lighting, making sure...
Dawn, I get the feeling that you really would love to see the throw rug removed.
I would. Most people are agreeable to just kind of rolling them up and even placing them to a side or just removing them. But I've had a few folks that say that they've obtained these rugs and carpets from, different places that they've traveled. So there is a way that you can adhere them to the ground safely and firmly. There is a way that you can do that. But yes, if I had my way, I would say just do away with them. Okay. That way, that trip hazard.
I wanted to make that point.
Definitely.
Thank you, Dawn.
You're welcome. So lighting is important, making sure just, areas that you're going to be moving around your apartment are well lit. That's a huge area. Bathroom safety is next. Definitely for those that have the step-in tub versus the walk-in shower, always recommend grab bars. Horizontal and vertically. I said that wrong probably. Horizontal and vertically, just to ensure that you have something to hold on to when you're stepping in and out. I've seen some instances where there are towel racks. Never a good idea to kind of grab onto that towel rack. It will definitely detach.
Pull out, yeah.
Right, whereas with the grab bars, they're kind of bolted in. So grab bars, again, important in the bathroom, but also sometimes there's a need for a shower chair, depending upon what the current state of the resident is. If there's still some weakness, I typically recommend a shower chair, a detachable shower head, so you're not trying to maneuver it and perhaps lose your balance that way as well.
Would you recommend a shower that you can take down from the top and just use it all over yourself while you're seated?
Yes, if at all possible, I would definitely recommend a detachable shower head versus a fixed or a mounted shower head. All the time, in fact.
I think another very important aspect of your subject is, how about some handrails along the hallway?
Sure.
Would you recommend, say, having general services install those?
I would, and again, as part of the home assessment completed by myself or any other occupational therapist or physical therapist, just because every apartment is so different or can be different here, if there are places where there is nothing to hold on to and the resident may or may not have an assistive device like a cane or a walker, then in those instances, yes, I would probably recommend that environmental services come and place a grab bar.
Any other areas of concern?
Well, again, another factor is clutter. Just making sure, not just, when you first are entering your apartment from the front door, but in general, clear passageway in between the bathroom, the closet, and the bedroom to the living room, things that, don't necessarily have to be, sometimes we'll go in and we'll just rearrange furniture to make it easier and more accessible. The other thing that I'll say is the kitchen. There's a lot of times these cabinets that have tons of stuff in them. We're all guilty of that. I know I have way too much stuff at home, but placing the more frequently used items lower so that they, again, are more accessible. And again, lighting, making sure there's clear lighting so that visual, so that you can see clearly what it is you're doing. It's not dim. You don't have to guess kind of where things are.
I assume that another positive would be to have a grab bar, or you could reach up via the bar and pull down a glass or a bowl or a can of soup or something.
So you know what? Even for that, those frequently used items, I'd probably just place them lower. So if it's something like seasonal, maybe if there's a family member or a friend of yours that could help you rearrange that if there's seasonal dishes that you tend to use around Christmas or something like that. But again, it's keeping everything accessible and trying to minimize the risk for falls. That's the huge kind of the thing that we look at most, is how can we reduce a resident's risk for falls.
I don't know if this falls under your purview, but I would assume that a person should be careful with sleeves if she's cooking or he's cooking, and their bathrobe sleeve is kind of long.
Absolutely. And again, part of the home assessment, and probably even leading up to that home assessment and just working with the resident on home safety in general, those type of things we definitely talk about, making sure pot handles are turned inward and not outward, so that if you're, walking up to it, you don't accidentally push it or tip it over on yourself. But again, appropriate clothing when cooking or engaged in activities where there's a risk for fire and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So we have covered grab bars, rugs,
Yep.
grab whatever else we had.
Clear passageways.
Pardon?
Clear passageways.
Clear passageways. Can you think of anything else that I should be aware of in my apartment that I should change or rearrange?
And again, just speaking on a very general level, because again, the one thing about the home assessments are they're highly individualized, because we recognize that one, the apartment actual setup is going to be different, and then two, like personal effects like furniture and, items that, you may have that someone else doesn't. So just again, I think you've highlighted pretty well the main topics, having proper placement of grab bars, taking up throw rugs, clear and accessible passageways, well-lit rooms, and then, like I said, just thinking forward and thinking safety first, really minimizing the risk for falls.
Based upon what I see on the scroll from time to time, when the maintenance personnel are going to look at our AC, they say take away any tables or whatever in front of the AC. Those shouldn't be there in the first place. Should they?
No, and just general, not that I'm an HVAC specialist, because I'm not, but from what I understand, you shouldn't block the vents, like the reuptake vents and that, just so that there can be clear airflow. But anything that's, blocking a vent is probably not a good idea. Probably just need that to be placed at a different location or at a different angle. And again, as part of the home assessment, like if we notice something like that, we would, or something, or even like for those that have the sliding patio door, if there's furniture, just jammed up against that, obviously that could be a point of entry or exit if need be. So we would want that to be cleared to be more accessible as well.
Dawn, you made some real good points this morning.
Thanks.
Now, I'm in my apartment.
Okay.
I'm doing fine. Can I call you and say, would you please come over and assess my apartment? Is that possible, or are you all too busy?
So it is possible. There is a process. We would definitely take your information. We would definitely make a referral through your doctor so that we get an order to actually be able to come in and complete the home assessment.
You can't respond to me personally.
Well,
you must respond to the doctor.
I do. I would respond to you directly by taking your call, and then the next step would be to just obtain the appropriate referral. But then we can make it happen for sure.
Dawn Bellamy, I want to thank you for taking the time out to come down here and give us all these very important, cogent points.
No problem.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Please stay tuned, viewers, because we have Roy Connor coming up next.